Now on to our third segment, another three-letter acronym that continues to make headlines recently, PMD. Now what now, you may ask? The Straits Times was on a stakeout at 4 locations over 3 days to see how many PMD users broke the speed limits stipulated at these areas. And what did we find out? Now every rider on a PMD broke the speed limit on the footpath. Every single one. Now here's a clip of the stakeout. Now there you go. For the full video, do head on to our website at www.straitstimes.com. Now to tell us more about this stakeout, I have senior correspondent Tan Ee Lyn. Welcome, Ee Lyn. Now Ee Lyn, I understand that you are involved in the stakeout. So tell us, how did you and the team conduct the stakeout?
Yeah, so as you learned from the video, we staked out at 4 spots, right? Yeah. In Singapore, Gardens by the Bay East, a stretch of River Valley,
yep.
A stretch of Cross Street, and we were also at Pasir Ris Drive 3. And so with a speed measuring device, we were able to nail down the speeds at which some PMD riders whom we encountered, what the speeds they were traveling at, also e-bike riders. And what we also did was, one of us would be standing a distance away, where we could flag down some of these riders. Those who chose to stop, we spoke with them.
Right, right. And those who broke the speed limit, rather, Ee Lyn, what were the reasons that they gave?
Most of them said, they didn't break the speed limit. Some of them said they don't know what the speed limit is. Some gave funny reasons, like they were traveling because they were on a slight downhill, and that they weren't throttling, so they were just being pulled along by gravity, so they didn't break any rules.
Right. And of course, when the story came out, you mentioned earlier on as well, as we were chatting, people started writing to you. So what was the response that you received from readers upon reading your report?
Yes, I think for this story, I think it's so close to people's hearts. Many people wrote to us, and on Facebook we had responses. There were, probably over 1,000 written responses. We had dozens of, we received dozens of emails, me and my colleagues, and people also wrote in to our forum page, and these letters were published. I think people are clearly very upset with this policy. This policy probably works very well for PMD riders, owners of these motorized vehicles. Probably it works very well for the government because, with one policy, for years Singaporeans have complained about how cars are very expensive. So with this one policy, suddenly lots of people can now afford some sort of mobility and the kind of freedom, that that comes along with it. So it all works very well with them. But many people have written in to us talking about how, it's no longer safe for them to walk on our pavements. People are very worried when their elderly parents go out to walk by themselves. We are a society, we encourage walking, people should take brisk walks, should keep healthy and so on, but now our streets are no longer safe. Our pavements and our shared paths, lots of readers have written to us also talking about how they've been injured by PMD riders who have just smashed into them, and many have also written to us about how they've encountered near misses, a lot are very, very worried for especially for their parents.
Yeah. And why have a policy then that clearly endangers pedestrians like that?
We don't know.
Yeah.
I think, I think the sort of feedback that we've gotten really isn't so earth-shatteringly new. We've got so much media coverage really about the injuries that people have sustained. Some very severe, head and neck injuries. Yet I'm not quite sure why the government is not listening. Don't forget that whilst a small portion of our population is enjoying this policy, with huge numbers, and these are voters, who are not pleased at all with this policy.
Right, definitely. And of course, you mentioned about the impact, right, of this on the pedestrians. A bit more, of course. What about, say, the power assisted vehicles? They are a boon, right, to people and all that. And should they return to the roads, you reckon?
Okay. Now the thing is, we've spoken. I think for this story, I think what was also interesting about it is we've spoken to physicists, we've spoken to engineers who have shown us, using science, what the impact is like if you are smashed into by a PMD that's traveling at 25 kilometers per hour. It's equivalent to being hit by a 10 kg sack of rice from the 7th story. This is no small matter. And people have become, we've seen stories, we've had stories of people who have become very severely brain damaged, and unlikely to fully recover ever. Some of our politicians have talked about, how maybe PMD riders can take up third-party insurance. Really, that is no consolation, and people cannot see this as a viable option. Nobody wants to get injured. People who are out walking on our pavements, we don't want to get injured. And as taxpayers, readers are saying, as taxpayers, we demand for an environment that is reasonably safe. And some people are talking about how if we can ban chewing gum, which is really causing no harm to anyone, why not ban this thing?
The PMD as well, right.
And also there are views also from readers saying, why not just move them back to the roads where they belong? Because these are vehicles. When you talk about, the definition of a vehicle is that it should transport humans or goods, then it is a vehicle. Then let's return them to the roads, because by moving them to the pavement, what it means is they are endangering humans who are not encased in metal, so should pedestrians be forced to bear the risk of a PMD use.
Right. Thank you so much, Ee Lyn, for coming onto the show to tell us more about the stakeout that you and the team conducted. Now, for those of you who are watching, of course, if you want to know more and the full report of the stakeout, do head over to our website at www.straitstimes.com. Once again, thank you, Ee Lyn, for coming onto the show. Now, earlier on, of course, we talked about Carrie Lam's announcement regarding the extradition bill that is dead, and really, what is the reaction to this announcement. And then we moved on to talk to Yuan Sin about the CPF payout sums, and really what one can do to prepare for retirement, or to adequately prepare for retirement. And just earlier on, we had Ee Lyn to tell us more about the stakeout that Straits Times did to see how errant PMD users are on the pavements that is also shared with pedestrians. So those were our top stories for the day. Now, for more news and videos, do log on to our website at www.straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Haryanto. Join us tomorrow, same time, for more stories on The Big Story.